how do I find cross-site scripting flaws? You're not going to have this huge treatise on what cross-site scripting is. It's going to be in the desk reference. So we're trying to pull out redundant information, get it all in one place, have these documents interlink to each other so that when you're going on the wiki, you can navigate around really quickly to say, well, how do I review code? Then how do I build it right in the first place? And how do I, if I'm doing testing, and to navigate around in the wiki. And then we're also going to, of course, produce them in book form that you can download and use as well. So this is really organizing and massively improving the work that we have on the wiki. Lastly, community outreach is a huge focus of OWASP. Obviously, we want you guys to get more aware of application security, and if you already are aware, then we want you to be aware of the great tools and technology and documents that we have, and we want you to also share that with everyone else who needs to know this as well. So the chapters program, you can see around the world, we have over 100 chapters. And they get together once a month or once a quarter and talk about application security. I'm the conferences chair, so I'm kind of focused on all the various conferences we have around the world. So you can see in 2007 and 8 and 9, we've got a huge agenda of conferences. So we have about 6 or 7, I guess 7 international conferences every year. Basically, the way these work is some guy calls me from some continent like in India or Australia or whatever and says, I want to have a conference about OWASP. And we're like, great, how can we help you? And so we support them, and they organize these conferences. And so this is great. This is getting the OWASP word out to the world. So in India, they just had one last month. We have never been there. There's like 3 or 4 chapters there, a lot of dots. There's actually 7 or 8. And they had, 250 people show up to learn about application security. So that was great. So we're all over the place, and we're continuing to grow. And I think we're really getting the word out there. And we need to improve our results, the work that we have, so that the people using this can take advantage of it as easy as possible. Sure. Yeah, there's also, those are the major conferences, right? And I don't want to offend anyone who thinks that there's minor ones, right? So there's a bunch of minor conferences as well too, right? So I know Colorado has one, I know Minnesota has one, there's probably a bunch of others that I'm not even aware of as well, right? So, and that's great. The grassroots mantra of OWASP is awesome. Somebody stands up in Colorado and says, I want a conference, and they go and do it. And we worked with them a little bit as well to help them, and that's great. So, I don't want to diss the size of the conference, whether it's 100 people or 1,000 people, or as we grow, it's awesome. The more, the merrier, because I think local conferences really help that local community get the word out, and which I think is great. So anyway, that's all I had.
So hello again. I'm going to make it short and sweet for 2 quick reasons, because Dennis has a lot of content to get to. And we have about 10 minutes left before this track will be over, or this talk will be over. Real quick, just so you guys have a quick update for the agenda so we know how this continues on. This keynote was kind of geared to help educate you about OWASP, some of the things you don't know, fill in some of the blanks, and educate you in some of the things that are going on in the future. At 7 o'clock tonight, it's not on your track agenda, but at 7 o'clock tonight, upstairs, there will be a chapter leader, chapter member discussion open house, meaning kind of like when you guys are involved in the Denver chapter and you guys are involved in different chapters around the world. It'll be the time to talk openly about questions and answer sessions. So feel free to join us at 7 o'clock as well. That's actually going to be just before the party. So first we get to talk about things and we get to drink. So I think that'll be a good time. A couple points I think that need to be pointed out here is how to get involved in OWASP and how to join the mission, etc. And again, just to make it short and sweet, we have about we have over 10,000 individuals on mailing lists around the world, as was pointed out, and we also have about 120 chapters, and it's growing. So the idea here is how do you get involved? I got involved in 2004. I got involved by doing nothing more than having a few people, 5 of us, get together with pizza and beer to talk about AppSec. And it kind of grew, and it kind of grew, and it kind of grew. And then the New Jersey chapter got really, really large, just based on peers and friends. And a lot of us are here today, which is really cool. We moved into the New York chapter, and that kind of grew. We have about 1,210, 15 members now in the New York metropolitan area for the New York chapter. So we have a very big group of people, and a large amount of them are actually here today. So thank you for continuing to be a part of the chapter. Other than that, I do have some changes in the agenda. I will get to them after the talk's over, so not to bore you, let me push over to Dennis. Thank you. Nice.
The way this works, right, is Jeff keeps the whole thing afloat. Dave has the financial kind of stability of all this. Tom handles governance. Sebastian handles things like education, and I spend all the money, right? So I come up with all the crazy ideas, right, to get the assets that we have, right, happening. And I view myself as an enabler. So if you guys want to do anything at OWASP, right, you guys talk to me, and I pass it through the board, right? It's pretty simple, right? And what happens was that we created this, right, which was the OWASP Grants Project. And the OWASP Grants Project happened about 4 years ago, whatever, in Belgium, where we literally was sat around at the chapter meeting table and we said, we got 50K in the bank, US dollars, not pounds. And we said, what are we going to do with it? We're going to do a party, we're going to do some advertising campaign, or are we going to do some sponsorships? And we did. We did basically the OWASP Autumn of Code, gently ripped off from Google Summer of Code. And it worked spectacularly, right? And we basically sort of grew from there. And what happened is we hit a great model for, allocating OWASP resources. And what's interesting about this, and we have some more stuff that you guys can see, we're going to have a full list of sponsorship, etc. But it was a great way to get things done. It was a great way to get people involved in OWASP because we now had a very nice formal process. Of course, for the guys who done the first Autumn of Code and the Spring of Code, you realize that it was quite chaotic, right? But that's how we do things for the first couple of rounds. And then for the last one, because we already had our project manager, I could say that for the first time, I'm running a proper grant program. So for the Summer of Code, we got 31 projects. We have 70 reviewers, and it's really run professionally. If you guys go to the wiki, there is pages for everything. There's review, there's controls, there's checks, there's quality, and we're really pushing it. And the whole point is to really drive forward the quality of OWASP. So one of the things that we realized is that we have spent, as OWASP, about $250,000 in grants to open web applications, research. And we have more money, right? Because we have members and our conferences are profitable. So, it's not a matter of, having financial resources. It's a matter of what do you do with it. So you can see here where, the money went and the kind of grants we have and the kind of projects we have, and here's some more. And one of the things that we struggle spectacular at OWASP is to tell you, the community and our members and the people who really need and can use our resources what we have. So we came up with a great solution. Instead of actually completely overflowing this conference by adding 3 more tracks into it, because we have already 50 presentations we need to give, we decided to bring everybody, right? And this is the project management that you guys are going through, so it doesn't really matter. You guys can read it on the web. So we decided, right, and I'll come back to that one. Sorry. We decided to bring everybody to Portugal. So what we're doing, and basically, this is a very important story because it's the way OWASP works. Me and Paulo Coimbra, right, were on a train from Poland, because we were representing OWASP on the conference, to the Belgium conference. We were literally on a train, right, and we basically, this was the chain of command, or thought. Hey, we got 70 guys reviewing, and they're actually really good. Oh, that means we have 100 guys currently working on OWASP projects. How the hell are we going to advertise all this? How are we going to get all our guys to understand what's there? So why don't we bring them all together? Oh, why don't we bring a summit? Well, if we're all going to go together, why don't we have some working sessions? Okay, how much do we need? All right, we come up with this idea of $150,000. I called these guys. Jeff was not there, so I called Jeff. Dave was there, and we basically said, I want to spend this money. I want to get a summit. We're going to do it.